Your thoughts?
What? What? Who?
Nice.
Man, you can tell this storm's coming on in. Good morning, happy Wednesday. It's 9:03 on this 8th day of May, and we got a good show for all of you today. Sydney Sinks joining us because she ghosted me last week. Yeah, I know you're listening right now. I'm just kidding. We were just so busy last week, we didn't have a chance to do blog talk, so we're going to do it today in about 17 minutes or so, but who's counting? We're going to get the latest from a Riverbender blog. This time about her friend graduating college and getting a doctorate in pharmacy. Man, that's some good stuff. And now I know who to call whenever I, need help. Well, we're going to talk to her at 9:20. Then around 10:10, we're going to be talking to Lacy McDonald and Hayner Library. Kurt Smith's coming into town. He's portraying Thomas Jefferson this weekend, and we're going to get the latest on ways that we can be a part of it. This isn't just, any old Thomas Jefferson. This is Colonial Williamsburg Thomas Jefferson, the Thomas Jefferson, and the fact that we get a presentation yet again in Alton's a really cool thing, so really excited to be talking about that. Then at 10:30, we're talking all things MILF. Man, I love film. Get your mind out of the gutter. Come on, man. It's only 9:04. MILF, man, I love film. This is a new exhibit at Jacoby Art Center, and this is in partnership with Lewis and Clark Community College, where they go through and take you through some of the different shots. Over 150, I believe, different exhibits over at Jacoby Art Center now until the end of May, where you can go in and view it. But before we start this newscast today, I got to ask you, I am getting just pummeled right now with sinuses. I got a migraine that's cooking. It's been cooking for an hour, and you can tell that there's some rain coming in today. And I don't know what that means for us this afternoon. My middle school team's supposed to train with the high school girls team today, this afternoon, before their final game tomorrow, and we might have to go inside the gym, it's looking like, but we'll take a look at weather here in a few seconds. But I got to ask you, do you guys get affected by weather? You know what I'm saying? Because for me, every time there's a big pressure or a big front coming in, I just get pummeled. When I tried that Flonase stuff, well, it worked for a month or about a season. I was like loving life. I really could breathe again. I felt good. And then all of a sudden it just stopped working for me. I don't know. It just it made it worse. So I don't know what I did. I don't know if I developed a Flonase addiction or what. Fill me in. You guys see, it's really cool because sometimes you guys text me and help me, figure out my problems in life in the morning, and you want to comment in maybe some suggestions on how I can fix myself and prepare for storms and weather better, well, please let me know. But at 9:05, here's what's happening around the Riverbend. Make sure you sign up for your daily email update, but also, guys, we have SMS notifications, and for the millennial out there, it means text messaging. That was pretty good. I write my own material. You can text at RB to 618-202-4618 to sign up for those notifications. We will alert you on breaking news, weather alerts, closings, cancellations, sports scores, even my show, you name it. We'll put it in there on that SMS notification. Sign up for them today by texting RB to 618-202-4618. Let's take you to top of the hour news. Here's what's happening around the Riverbend. We'll take you to Madison County first. Captain Casey Farwell of Illinois State Police Troop 8 announced that roadside safety checks, known as RCSs, will be conducted in Madison and St. Clair counties throughout May. I saw a couple actually a couple weeks ago over there on the berm. Now, these checks aim to increase public awareness and enforce laws to reduce traffic fatalities. Illinois has a zero tolerance policy for impaired driving, and officers will rigorously check for signs of impairment, unsafe driving, invalid licenses, open alcoholic beverages, and other vehicular violations. Statistics reveal that alcohol and drug impairment contribute to nearly half of all fatal crashes in Illinois. And funded by the Illinois Department of Transportation, this initiative is a part of the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign that focuses on improving road safety by removing high-risk drivers from the streets. Also in the news today out of Jerseyville, Jerseyville has seen a series of criminal cases recently. Gary L. Ontis, 49, has been charged with retail theft after allegedly stealing muck boots from a farm and home supply last year. His prior offenses upgraded this to a Class 4 felony. Ontis pled guilty and awaits sentencing scheduled for June 26th. Also, Sheena M. Brown, 47, faces her fourth DUI charge, now a Class 2 felony, with a preliminary hearing set for the 29th of May. Along with Donald Blassa, 64, charged with meth possession and driving on a revoked license. His initial appearance in court is set for the 28th of May. Also in the news, Illinois American Water is progressing with its initiative to separate the combined sewer system in Alton and install new sanitary sewers. Here's what we know. According to engineer Justin Kleinschmidt, PE, the discovery of a tunnel in the 15th and 16th Street area has extended the project duration. As of May the 3rd, Bell Street remains closed between 13th and West 16th Streets. The company expects additional road and partial closures in the coming months for main water installations. Despite the disruptions, road restoration has been completed on Mather, Hardy, and Elm Streets, and residents are advised to use alternate routes and drive cautiously in the affected areas. Finally, in the news this morning, before we take a break and a look at weather, Alton Memorial Hospital's outpatient surgery and medical office building B Lab were recognized with 5-star awards at the 2024 Professional Research Consultants Excellence in Healthcare Awards. Kathy Wagner, the manager of AMH Outpatient Surgery, highlighted the team's commitment to ensuring patients are treated with dignity and respect during surgical procedures. Ruth Tapin, manager of the lab, praised her team for their dedication and excellence in patient care, particularly in making patients comfortable during blood draws. AMH President David Brash expressed pride in the recognition, underscoring the hospital's commitment to the values of compassion, respect, excellence, safety, and teamwork. The awards are based on patient survey data from 2023, with PRC recognizing top performers in healthcare based on that patient experience. At 9:10, we will take a look at weather, but real quick, Abby McDonald has made a significant contribution to the Pie-Sol Southwestern Pie-Sol Birds softball team and their success this season. She boasts a .425 batting average with 34 hits and 26 RBIs, and as a senior at Southwestern, Abby has exemplified leadership both on and off the field, earning her the title of Alton Community Federal Credit Union Female Athlete of the Month. She is also committed to playing softball at Lincoln Land Community College despite the challenges faced, particularly after teammate Maddie's injury. Abby feels the team rallied, and she emphasized their collective effort as a team to overcome obstacles throughout the season and achieve their goals. And we're very excited to honor Abby McDonald and all of the area athletes with our Athlete of the Month. And we want to thank our supporters of Athlete of the Month, the wonderful businesses that help us showcase those athletes. It goes so much further as you look at college recruiting. To be featured in a local publication goes a long way. And we're very happy with Athlete of the Month, and thank you so much to all of our supporters with that. At 9:11, let's take a quick check at your weather. That ain't lying. It's already 69 degrees, but it feels like 90 out there. It feels like Miami. It actually feels like 77. Today, mostly cloudy and warm. Damaging afternoon thunderstorms likely. Now, these thunderstorms can bring the potential of torrential downpours, large hail, damaging wind gusts and even tornadoes isolated. Tonight, a strong thunderstorm in spots this evening potentially. Otherwise, partly cloudy. Stay up to date with your weather alerts on RiverBender.com, as actually we air our weather alerts about 30 seconds to a minute faster than everyone else. And I'm talking KSDK and all of them. And you're going, why is that important? Because when a tornado comes, you like to know right when it happens, not 2 minutes later when it could have already passed your house. So stay up to date on RiverBender.com/weather. And for time and temperature throughout the day, 618-465-4545. Temperatures reach 80 degrees today. However, they do drop down to 60 overnight on Thursday, an 80% chance of rain, a high of 70 degrees, a low of 51. On Friday, no rain in the forecast, partly sunny skies, a high of 69 degrees, a low of 54 degrees. On Saturday, the 11th day of May, a high of 72, a low of 51. And on Mother's Day, Sunday, May the 12th, a high of 78 degrees, a low of 57. For time and temperature throughout the day, again, 618-465-4545, this time powered by Bounce Back Rehab Recover and Return Home. There are some hot buys at RP Lumber. Just wanted to make sure you heard me. That's why I'm yelling. They want you to shop their May sale, and there's a ton that's being offered. That 25% off all in stock, medium weight, blue polyester tarps. Those are great for when you have folks doing work inside your home. You don't want to messing up your hardwood, your carpet. You throw those suckers down, you're taken care of. Or you got leaves or brush you need to haul away. Or maybe some rain getting in and you want to see if you can find the issue by just throwing a little tarp down on there to see if that's really where the water's coming in. 25% off on that. $8.99 for 3x5 poly cotton American flags. You're saving $3. 16 ounces of Roundup. That costs you $14.99 with those savings at RP Lumber. And then what I love, that 40-foot Fat Max tape measure. Those are the best from Stanley, man. You could use those wherever. $34.99, you're saving another $6. However, it's getting hot this summer. You got sporting events. You're going to go out in the river and fish. You got a vacation and a beach in Florida. You need a canopy because that sun is unforgiving. And contrary to what people tell you, lay off the tanning too much. You know, tan a little bit, but don't tan a lot. That's why you need this canopy. 10x10 polyester canopy with a steel frame. You're talking $120. That's a brand new item. Or if you buy a M18 fuel brushless cordless blower from Milwaukee for $199, RP Lumber is giving you $20 back in a gift card to get Rust-Oleum, get that Roundup, get those tarps, get that American flag, get anything you need with that $20 gift card because they're giving you an incentive to buy Milwaukee at RP Lumber. You can shop the May sale by clicking on the RiverBender.com wallpaper and going to rplumber.com/promotions. Put your zip code in, find your local RP Lumber store, and once you get in there, don't forget to tell them that CJ Nasello and RiverBender.com sent you over their way. Before we take a quick break, it's always good to take a look at Skycam. Let's do that now. We'll come back. More Daily Show hits you next.
If I really could have hung the moon, would it change your mind? If I could cry a little harder and get a little less sleep at night, if I had 2 dozen roses.
I had an amazing experience with Dr. Haug and her team. I came here when I was 10 years old to get my braces on. Now I'm 28 years old, braces off, and I get so many compliments on my smile. It's helped me thrive in my career as a news reporter, and also as Miss Missouri USA, I took the stage with confidence, knowing my smile was gonna make me look like $1 million. I've never felt better and more confident because of my smile.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready, future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville. Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Higher and higher, baby. It's a living thing. It's a
I cannot wait to go see ELO, or Jeff Lynn's ELO. It's the same thing. I cannot wait to go see ELO on September 9th. That's going to be awesome. Jeff Lynn farewell tour, hitting the area, you know? Oh, there's Sydney. Yeah, Sydney, come on in here. Yeah, go ahead. Come on in here. Yeah. Oh, no need to run. Good morning. You know, while I'm waiting for Sydney to settle in, I told her 9:30, and, well, I forgot that I take a break at 9:15. And with that being said, I do have some fun facts for you. Sydney, according to Finance Buzz and Statista, you know, the big one, Statista's the big one. Americans plan to spend $35.7 billion on Mother's Day alone.
Wow.
Isn't that nuts? And now, the good thing is, 84% of Americans plan on celebrating in some way, shape, or form. And Mother's Day, third most lucrative holiday of the year, for florists anyway, following only Valentine's Day, Christmas, and funeral days. And there are an estimated 2 billion mothers around the world right now. Isn't that wild? Mother's Day is celebrated in more than 100 countries. There's Mother's Day by the numbers. I thought they're going to have like more, you know, spend $48 billion on chocolate, $800 million on flowers. That's kind of boring.
That's interesting. Flowers for Christmas. Is that a thing your family does?
Thank you. No.
Okay.
No. Okay. Now, are they talking poinsettias? Or,
I guess,
because you can get those from Schnucks, and they all look the same, you know?
Dare I say.
Yeah,
It all looks
well,
the same,
just wait until a florist calls me here in a second and goes, what the hell are you talking about? You know, is your head hurting or anything? I was talking to the audience earlier, I think. I don't know if they were listening, but I was just kind of rambling. I always get the worst migraine during, when a big storm comes.
Oh, right, because you know it just is coming and the pressure.
Yeah.
No.
Man, I'm dying this morning. Like, I felt pretty good getting in, and I was feeling pretty confident, and all of a sudden, I'm just not.
It's horrible.
It's hitting me.
It hits hard. No, it's horrible how it hits. But, no, here's hoping when the storm breaks. Usually that's when it gets a little bit better for me, once the rain actually starts. So here's hoping that we can just get through whatever bad weather we're going to have today. Just get through it. Nothing too bad happened, and come out the other side.
I didn't tell you I'm an idiot, did I?
Oh, let's hear it.
Well, you know I'm an idiot already, but, you know, I'm sitting in my office, and I feel so bad for Sydney, because sometimes I'm just banging on this darn computer and screaming at it. I can't, because I'm typing an email, okay?
Yeah.
I think I got spyware or something like that. Local AM stations, like, following my emails, because I'm typing, and all of a sudden, that sucker will start jumping up 3 or 4 lines and start typing on a different line. And I'm not hitting the tab button. I promise. We troubleshot this.
No, and I'm glad you're saying this, because I feel insane sometimes, because I'm working on my email and it'll show up out of nowhere. My cursor's way on the other side.
Okay, so it's not just me.
It's not just you.
There is something going on with. I'm like going nuts over. I'll type an email and like all of a sudden I'll be like regarding, and it'll go to the first line and like the end of regarding will be on hello.
It's very frustrating.
Oh man,
no, it's not just you. I wonder if this is an everyone thing or if this is an us problem. I don't know.
I'm sure there's some user error on my part.
Yeah,
I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying I'm right here.
Likewise, I know I'm not computer savvy, so I understand my own limitations. That's one of them. But.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. And that's why today I'm like, you know what? I put in a little vacation time. I'm going to go home and work, get the event article done and all
Good
that.
for you,
but,
yeah.
You know, I have 2 days left of soccer.
Yeah,
Well,
you're almost done.
of middle school soccer. Then I got another week of club soccer, but we're almost there. But at this point in the game, it's like the storm's coming. I'm getting ripped to shreds with my sinuses. I thought, I'll just take a little half day.
Good for you. Take it easy. What are you going to do? Just chill?
I got to chill. Well, I'm going to work for about an hour or two, then go to soccer.
No, well, okay.
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Pretty much a spitting image of what I do in the office. I just added vacation time, so I don't have to worry about, being productive
That'll be
as
good.
much.
That'll be good.
That's pretty much it. Graduations.
Graduations
That's what we
are
were talking
coming up.
about.
It's happening now.
Yes, you were just at one.
I was just at one. Yep, I was at the SIUE School of Pharmacy graduation, so that was fun.
Do you willingly go to these?
Well, in this case, yes, because it was my friend graduating, so I was happy to go. But see, generally speaking, no offense to everyone out there, your graduations aren't really that interesting.
So I swear this, I will never forget. When Alton High School, there's we had a class of like 500 kids.
Oh,
So there's
wow.
4,000 parents or family members floating around. And those tickets are nuts for high school graduation. Do you guys have that at Southwestern too?
Yes, we did. And I think we got 10 tickets each, and that was nice. But it was very, very lucrative. So people were trading all kinds of things.
Well, I'm telling you what, there was after prom, one of the prizes was more graduation tickets. That's how serious it got, and people were selling them online. I mean, this was like a big deal.
Hardcore.
Grab the prize. This is when they were in the gym. I don't know if they still do it in the gym. I don't know, And we broadcast. I should probably watch, but well, all of a sudden though, I'm like, I get 4 tickets. Well, your parent, I got 6. Maybe.
Okay, yeah.
So your parents are obviously gonna go. They're kind of obliged to
Yeah.
go. They no matter what they're going, And I don't know. Maybe it's different because my grandparents on the other side were, my dad's side were like, great, we're proud of you, but I'm not sitting there.
Fair enough,
Got it. Well, then my grandpa, though, jumped on it. He loved it. He and his girlfriend, Wanda, came, and they had every bit. So I think you have to be meant for the situation.
I think you're right, yeah.
But did your parents get excited for your high school graduation?
So for my high school graduation, they were nice. They were excited for me. So, but I don't think anyone's necessarily excited to sit through the whole ceremony.
So, right. You know what I'm saying? I was awful.
Really?
Oh, my God. I was terrible in my graduation. And this is back before I partied. Just a little disclaimer. So someone goes, man, CJ started drinking early that day. I did not. I was just fed up and done. We're sitting there, and maybe it's me, but I feel like all the valedictorians and all like the National Honor Society people, I started a riff with them. Okay, hear me out here. We have time to talk. I started a riff with them, and I said, I heard that there was some displeasure going on in the class about their current class president or whoever was going in, and I said, I'm going to run. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to show up out of nowhere and win this darn thing. Well, I kept threatening for 6 months and never did it because I realized there was a lot of work that went into the National Honor Society and student body and all that, so I gave up, Well, the same person was speaking at graduation, okay? I was like awful, like going, because they were always not nice to me,
Well, and you automatically lose respect.
Yeah, exactly, and it's not because I was like picked on or bullied. I was a pretty popular kid. It just they always turned their nose up to me. Like there was a certain group that did, and I get it because I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer and not always doing things by the book. I get it. But I'm like sitting there going, oh, look at those crocodile tears. Look at this. Oh, look at that speech. Can't wait for this to happen. Oh, I bet they're going to grab this and they're going to use this analogy. And where's the Dr. Seuss quote? And I'm like heckling him from the chair. I was terrible.
That's funny, though, because you're so right. That's what's in every graduation speech. The Dr. Seuss quote. You got it all.
Come on, best of graduation. Let's get through this. Well, by the time Lewis and Clark came around, because I already was working.
Yeah.
They were like, you're talking about graduation, getting a cap and gown, and I thought, do I have to? Like, it's 80 degrees out in May. I don't want to wear a cap and gown. I'm already working. I just want to go back to work.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it is. You're right. So this is where I'm different, though, because I'm like, just send it in the mail. I'll get it. And that's what happened. I got it in the mail.
No, that's fair enough. I know a lot of people who would rather do that, but no, it's kind of fun. And
did you go?
For my high school, my college graduation? I did go, and so I went and I walked, which was fun. And long, and it was long, and there was a lot of sitting and waiting and that kind of thing, but it was kind of exciting.
I don't know. Where'd you guys do your high school graduation?
We did it in our gym, so it was very small and very hot. Yes.
Okay. My cousin Holly in Florida, and all of them did this at Land O'Lakes. They had their graduation at USF's basketball court.
Wow.
Okay, let me. We have a couple. Just hang
Yeah.
tight with me, okay? Let me just pull this up. Basketball gym.
Yeah, I don't know.
Basketball arena, gym,
There
whatever.
we go,
All
yeah.
right. So this is the inside of this. Let me blow this up. Let's see if I can do
Wow.
that. Okay. Let me see if I can do this.
You got this.
The Sobrato Center. Okay.
Who knew? So we're learning something today too.
That's not it. Okay. That's okay. But anyway, this is
It's
this is it.
huge.
It is huge. Here, let's go now. This is picture in picture. This picture I'm a little zoomed up on. You know, the guy right here. You can see pieces
Wow.
of it. It's huge. Well, then you go to that, and the next year you got, yours, and you're in a gym.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Literally,
saying?
yeah.
It's kind of like a little bit of a, a hand-me-down. You know?
Definitely. Well, going from an arena to a gym, that's not your fault. It just kind of was what it was there.
Well, and
You
I
had to
feel
get
like
through,
me
yeah.
being the guy, I'm very humble. I deserve an arena.
You do. And you know what, CJ? You do. That's your affirmation for today. I deserve an arena. So
You know what else?
Think about that.
We deserve Denise Sparks and for all of our junk removal and trash pickup. And you see what I did there?
That was very good.
There we go. Denise Sparks has really taken the Riverbend by storm, and she's doing so because she took on the big guy. And people always get mad at me, Sydney. I've had someone come up to me. I was at Casey's the other day, and they go, "Why do you always trash the trash company?" And I said, well, it was a lot worse. And
Yeah.
he said, some curse word. I said, because it's not the employees, it's the fact that when I call the corporate line, no one answers the phone, and when they do answer, they tell me, well, we'll pick up your trash next week, and 3 weeks later it finally gets picked up.
Right.
And I pay for weekly trash service.
Absolutely.
Well, you'd think. And then you call the city, it's lumped into a contract, so you can't get out of it. I'm not dogging the employees. I'm dogging the fact that it's corporate America trying to work in a small town community. It's not going to work. So Denise Sparks took it on, and what they do is amazing. They answer their phone, and they're there for you. They aren't the other way around where you call them and you're just a number. You are a person, and they want to take care of you, whether or not it's weekly trash service or it's that junk removal because that neighbor's getting ready to report you to the city for that broken down hot tub that's been there since 2008. You got to call Denise Sparks. Whether or not you live in the Bethalto area, Cottage Hills area, see if you're on her pickup map and get on that weekly trash service. Save yourself a couple of bucks. There's a reason those purple and yellow trash cans are mating like bunny rabbits and they're popping all up across the 618. It's because the queen of junk is now in the trash business, and she's the queen of trash now too. SparksJunkRemoval.net. Don't forget to tell them that CJ sent you over her way.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
Dream Home Realty Center.
Hey Sherry, talk to me, Dream Team. We've got Joey.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
We are Phillips 66 Wood River Refinery. We make the fuels that take us to work and our children to school. We make materials and energy products that allow us to stay connected to each other. We care about the quality and safety of our products because we care about the communities we share. Our employees live our values of safety, honor, and a commitment to act as good neighbors where we live and operate. We are Phillips 66.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Damn straight. You're killing me, man. You know I've always been your biggest fan. Now I can't
Damn straight, Blog Talk, 8th day of May. Last week, where were you?
Last week, I missed it. And it's very sad.
No,
That's on me.
I took the pill. I said it was my fault because I forgot.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
No,
I did, yeah.
I missed you, CJ.
Yeah, I
missed
missed
the
you
studio,
too,
yeah.
Sydney. Well, you were only going at mock Jesus to get things done. You were going everywhere last week.
It was a busy week.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was.
likewise, though. It just is busy all around. And that's like kind of the nice part of this time of the year is, there's a lot to do, a lot going on, but it's kind of exciting.
But do you feel like this now that you're in, that after the busy part, like, and when we say busy, it's like you're just going all the time,
Yeah.
and when you get home, you're still working, you're getting caught up
Right.
and all that. But whenever it slows down, do you feel like you're lazy?
Absolutely.
So
no.
I do too. Like it's like Christmas. That's why I take the last
Yeah.
week off, because it's like I just sit there, everything's done, and I'm like, well, and I'm just like wasting space.
I know. I just feel bad. No, it's weird. It's weird. I like to be busy. I like to keep things going. So, it's exciting this kind of time of year just to get a lot going on. So, getting in there, getting things done. It's been good.
Just like your friend getting things done, 6 years in college.
Yeah. Shout out to my friend who graduated from pharmacy school this past weekend. And yeah, it's pretty impressive. 6 years in college, 6 letters to her name, PharmD. So pretty cool all around.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
So take me through this. Was it kind of something you've gotten to experience together with your friend? Because, she's going through it for 6 years, and I'm sure
Yeah.
the stresses and joys of pharmacy school come with it.
Right, and she said she was very nice about it. She said thank you, to me and our other friend for being a big part of the experience and life. And we're like, that's really nice, but probably really we've hindered you a little bit because I think while she's been studying and that kind of thing, we've been the ones who are like, oh, come on, let us come over. Come on, we got things to do. So we keep her busy. So she despite us has graduated pharmacy school, and we're very proud of her.
That's always something too, is whenever you realize that, maybe we were not the, because I do that all the time. I'm like, man,
Right.
maybe I shouldn't have had him go out and drink with me at 11:30.
Literally, yeah. Maybe am I the problem? Maybe.
I got a bad story I got to share with. I can't even tell it
Let's
on the
hear
air.
it. Oh,
No, I
okay.
can't.
Later.
Even though they wouldn't mind me saying it, I just feel bad for talking about it. I have some good stories. So I do the middle school pod.
Yeah.
I didn't have to. I loved it. They called and said, "Will you do it?" So I did
Yeah.
the podcast yesterday. Sydney, I don't know what happened to me. I did not drink or anything. I came straight from the show, went straight over there, and I got a little bit, it was a little unfiltered at times.
Well, that's the sign of a good interviewer. So I think
does.
shout out to the middle schoolers who are interviewing you because they made you just so relaxed you could just say whatever you wanted to say.
And I did, so I kind of took on everybody yesterday. But one thing I think's really cool is we were talking about, just the media business, and
Yeah.
we were talking about these type of blogs and stuff. We didn't really mention the Riverbender, but we were
Right.
talking about the things that you do and the things we do with the team. And what I think's awesome is that you can take a personal story and make it to where the public can kind of tie into it, because
I
we've
hope
all
so,
been
yeah.
that friend, that it's watching them and doing all this hard work, and you're so impressed, and then the day's here and you go, oh man, maybe I was a great friend, but maybe we shouldn't have went out that night, so you could have
right.
gotten your midterm done, as I tried a long way around getting back to the main point of this. But it's just really cool to know that people connect to this type of conversation. Now, it wasn't just a graduation. It was a birthday party, and what else?
And it was a big graduation party, big birthday party. We had a lot going on.
And a lot going on, so there's three things.
It was an exciting day all around. But no, I hope people connect to it. I try to make it in a way, it's, my life, but I think a lot of these experiences are kind of universal, so I hope people connect and can enjoy it and engage a little bit. So it's been good.
I love that. I got to go to the store. I bought 4 bottles of champagne, graduation banner, and wrote happy birthday on the cake. You were prepared for this.
Busy. I was trying hard.
Was this spur of the moment or preparation?
No, this was, believe it or not, CJ, unlike everything else in my life, I was prepared this time. So,
Wow.
no, I prepared for the week before. I was
Damn.
ready. I went shopping and got what we needed. I was good to go. But here's the thing, because it was a trio, right?
Yes.
It's me and my 2 friends. These 2 have big things to celebrate, and then there's me who's there to help out. So I was on me to make sure things were good. So it
Now
was very
that's
good.
are you good in that role?
I don't know. I'll have to ask my friends.
So here's my thing. I either do it way too ridiculous or not anything at all. You know, there's no in between. It's either, you know, like an extravaganza or it's like the sad birthday party at the park.
You know the love languages, like the 5 love languages?
I know of them, but I don't know them.
Well, one of them is gift giving. And I think every other part of my friendship life, I think I'm an okay friend in like a lot of other ways. But the one thing I am terrible at is gift giving and things like that. So in moments like these, I'm always like, okay, time to focus in. I know this is a weakness. I need to really focus and do my best here. So that's what we tried to do, is be prepared this time.
Well, and now, did you get any physical? Was it just the party you did for the gift?
We did some parties. We did a candle here. We did, some face masks over here.
Nice.
We tried our best to make it nice.
I love it. Well, this is what I think's cool because, I was reading this last maybe Monday.
Yeah, whatever.
Monday when it came out. And it's kind of cool because, you were talking about going through middle school and high school and all that. And I immediately connected to, when I was a freshman getting driven around by Mike Bray at the high school, his son Brian. His son Brian took me to school for a year and rode with, the Papins and did all this stuff. And, you remember those little stories of driving at, 2 in the morning and all that and having fun. And that's what it kind of brought up for me. So you talked about, driving the girls to school because you were the first one to get your license. So when she walks the stage, do you think about that stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Are you sentimental?
Sweet. I'm very sentimental as a person and very nostalgic. So, no, I definitely was watching it. And I was like, I think I'm going to tear up here. What's wrong with me? So, but it's very nice just to think and to imagine. And like I said in the post, I've known these girls for most of my life. So to see them, now as adults and to get to know them as these adult versions of themselves, it's very cool and very weird and exciting and all of the adjectives that you can think of.
That's awesome. And now, what was the kind of the conversation afterwards? Did you guys talk about, the big jobs, you're adulting now, birthdays and graduations, or was it just time to celebrate?
It was mostly celebration because there was a lot going on. So we took a bunch of pictures and we got all excited and hung out and had a lot to celebrate. But there was a little bit of those conversations about things like that. Like
wow, Sydney in high school.
Sydney in high school, yep.
That was
me.
last year.
Just about, yeah. But, here we are now with better haircuts maybe. And
I like it.
Thank you.
You pulled it off.
I appreciate
that. That's
that.
a tough look to pull off, too. It really is. That's good. That was looking great.
I appreciate that. No, but we're just, it's these same girls that I've known for so long, and it's nostalgic and it's sentimental, and it's nice to think about how we've grown up together.
That's so cool. And now, we were also missing last week. You were talking about the stories you wrote.
Yeah, so last week I talked a little bit about the different stories that I have seen in the last year since I've been here. So one of the things, I watched the Roxana class of 1966 commemorate or memorialize a bench for their classmates, right? Yeah. And I've been covering that story off and on for the last couple of months. So it's been exciting to watch it kind of come to fruition. And it made me very reflective because, again, I'm very reflective as a person, for good or bad. And it made me just think about some of the other stories I've come to think about a lot and can remember and all that kind of thing. And, these stories, they stick with you. I don't know if people realize that, but you remember them. So
what was the first story you wrote in college?
In college, the first story I wrote was
about
newspaper. A food drive.
Was it really?
Yeah, about a food drive that was happening on campus. But I just remember it because, I had this, it was printed in the paper, and I thought that was the coolest thing. So...
And, well, this is really cool because you attended that ceremony, and just for the folks that don't know or need to be refreshed, this was to dedicate it to the classmates they lost in Vietnam.
Exactly.
And isn't that wild to think about? I mean, you're losing literal classmates in high school because they're at war.
It's
I mean, that's wild. And so you followed it last year. But, take me through why it was important to write the story blog, because I found it really fascinating how you kind of circled it all back into one piece.
Well, it was just, I think it's easy to get kind of caught up in the day-to-day, right? And you're going day-to-day and you're doing these things. But it's nice to remember every now and then that these are stories and people and moments that are being commemorated and will be remembered now because we're writing about it. And I think that was kind of a good reminder for me, too, to remember that these are important and it's a chance to reflect. And appreciate that a little bit more.
We have a bad job for that too.
Yeah.
You know, and not like we hate our job, but in the industry we chose, you don't really get much time to reflect because, you know, people don't realize, and I'm not nearly as in the thick of it as you are. Mine's normally when it's like a political scandal or there's somebody calling me because they're raising holy hell. But for you guys, I mean, and it's no different than the show. You can't even think about the interviews you had. You can't really think about the story from yesterday because you got 18 to work on today.
Exactly, yeah.
So
busy.
it's kind of hard to really reflect back, and it's one of those professions where you only have the chance to whenever you take a pause or you know you get fired or you quit.
Here's hoping not anytime soon, but
no, I'm not hinting Sydney with anything. I did not see an email, but that's really what it seems like though is you don't really have that time until afterwards. So it's cool though that you're already able to at least take a step back and go, and follow that story and remember the ones that you already kind of put your mark on.
It's interesting. And one of the things I've been doing lately is I've been posting the obituaries that come in, which sounds kind of dark, but hear me out. And it's interesting to me because I read each one and I want people to realize when you submit an obituary, like we do read each one. And I always take a second to kind of, it's easy to copy, paste, get it up there, move on to the next thing. But I always kind of take a second to be like, this was a person, this was this was a life. And I try to be kind of intentional about that too. So it just kind of goes back to remembering that these are people that we're covering and it sticks with you. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, because it's different in local stuff because you aren't really a number here. We really do care about your stories, and we have people that call us all the time and come into the office. But I remember whenever that obituary came out last year, might have been right before you got here, or maybe right when you got here, when that guy, his daughter, wrote the obituary.
I remember that,
and it was pretty wild, you know. But I was one that said, run it. I was like, this is a great piece.
Absolutely.
It's a reminder and kind of homage, and we didn't do it first, somebody else did. But, it's taking that time to realize, that's somebody's life story, and it's cool that you take a moment and kind of, read through them and see who that person was.
I try to, take a second just to remember, because like you're right. These are people in our communities. These are our neighbors, So this is the lives around us. So it's a good chance to kind of remember and reflect a little bit and note that these are people in our communities who we care about. So
So take me through some of your favorites here, because you wrote about Rose, you wrote about Jean Summer and Yelena. Oh, I remember Yelena. She was great. That was a great find.
She was very cool.
And Matthew Butler, take me through some of those folks that you remember, kind of the stories that you kind of cherish.
Yeah, so there are a few stories that, and I remember a lot of them, but there are a few that really stick out with me and some people who have really stuck out for a while. And one of them was Rose Binsman, who had her 100th birthday party at the golf course.
That's right. Yeah.
And that was great. And Jean and Yelena. There's stories about just their search for a kidney donor, which is really interesting. And they took some time to sit down with me and tell me about that, which I really appreciate.
That's a lot of trust to talk about.
Absolutely. And then, of course, Matt Butler, which is the story of an unhoused man who passed away. And I got to speak to his family members and loved ones who spoke about just how great of a person he was. And it just is a great reminder that there are people out there who are, doing good things and you want to keep an eye on and remember. So it's been good.
Yeah, no, that is, man, I'm dying. I'm dying on the vine here. That is really good, though. And it shows, though, to the public, too, that because media reporters get a bad rap a lot because we're cold and heartless and we don't really care. We're just doing the next story. That's what the public thinks. But whenever you really hear that, we remember those things and we, share those stories, and everyone has dozens of them that's done this. But it's cool to know that, your reporter does care. It's not just, we aren't all the guy that just takes the picture of the car accident and throws it on Facebook for a like. It's not to showcase tragedy. It's about just kind of being the public, town square.
Yeah, to me, it's about the people. And so, reminding people, like, I see you and I hear you, and I'm trying to represent your story the best way I possibly can. And that matters to me very much. So that's something that I'm trying to do always.
Yeah, and that's what I think so cool. And just, I was looking over here because there's so many weather alerts coming out, folks, at 9:46. They're expecting the rain to start trickling in right around, right around 3. So just kind of hang out, hang loose. If you're in the Arnold area or you're working near Manchester, might not be the worst thing to see if you can sneak away from work before 1 p.m. because that's when the storms start hitting you. It'll creep into the Riverbend at 3, and then 5 till about 11 p.m. we're going to get peppered with some storms. So I just wanted to make sure we hit that because we're getting some weather alerts coming out on local media. So just so you know, RiverBender.com/weather. Back to Sydney. Out of the stories, out of the graduations, how do you find time to really enjoy that stuff?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I try to be very intentional about it and take the time and realize that this is my life. And writing the blogs actually helps reflect a little bit and take a second to kind of recognize that these are really cool moments in life. So it's been really good to just have these blogs for a second to take the time and just remember, you know, this is once in a lifetime experiences, and that's really cool. It's easy to get bogged down with the have-tos, but really we get to do these things, and so trying to just remember that and keep that in mind every day.
Damn, preaching at me on a Wednesday morning. That's right, though. I like that. I got to remember that one. It's not the have-tos, it's the get-tos.
Absolutely,
I like that. I like that, and I get to hang out with Sydney in the Riverbender building all throughout the week, and you get to enjoy her articles and, of course, Blog Talk. What are you working on this week, Sydney?
Oh, I wish I knew Blog Talk-wise. I don't know. It'll come to me. But otherwise, we got a lot of exciting things going on right now. Every time you ask me that question, I swear my mind goes blank, and I can't remember anything that I'm doing. But that being said, I'm going to go upstairs right now. I'm working on a story about a benefit that's coming up for a local man who has cancer, so that's going to be a good story just to let people know that you can support him out there on May 25th at the Cottage Hills VFW. And we got a couple other things coming down the pipeline, so I'm excited to go and get some things done, knock them out of the water.
All right, boss. I'll get Sydney back to work. Sorry. Hey, we had fun, though.
That was fun. It was always fun.
Always good talking to Sydney, and we're going to take a quick break here. But real quick, let me fill you in on Village Dispensary. You know, Eddie Boy Scholler was just on a couple of days ago, and we had a lot of people watching that one, and, you know, a lot of good reactions.
Absolutely.
I'm liking that the community's becoming cool. You know what I'm saying here? You know, I told Eddie on the show, I said, you're not going to have the coldest, you know, cannabis in town, but you can have the loudest, and they do at Village Dispensary. You know, whether or not you're going to sweeten up your Mother's Day by getting your mother in your life a little packet of gummies, or maybe you're going to treat her in a different way, you can stop by Village Dispensary and enjoy Mother's Day in a natural, all healthy, and safer environment than alcohol, in my humble opinion. Go to Village Dispensary, whether or not it's today, tomorrow, or this weekend, and shop some of their great deals that they have on edibles, on dab pens, on pre-rolls, on flour in general, on concentrates even, on those. Have you seen those drinks?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Those suckers will put you into outer space. I'm telling you what, I can't even touch those. That was a year ago, and I still remember that sucker, you know?
I hear they're strong.
And it's not just the products that are strong. It's the employees' knowledge that's strong, too. Whenever you go in, they have a little bit of a consultation area, so you don't have to feel rushed because you got somebody like me behind you at the register that knows what they're getting. They're going, let's go. Get the lottery ticket scanned. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about that. You can take your time at Village Dispensary. Or if you know what you're getting, you already got that order, you're in and out in 2 minutes time, courtesy of Village Dispensary. Find them online at villagedispo.com. That's villagedispo.com.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
I just got a new air conditioner. Top of the line.
I bet mine's better. It's so efficient and quiet, I hardly know it's running.
I've got you both trumped. I've got a Linux.
So do I.
Barrett Heating and Cooling carries Linux products to meet any budget. Don't gamble with your energy dollars. Call Barrett Heating and Cooling and start saving today.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
Welcome to Evergreen Place, a community that embodies joyful living, independence, and financial freedom for seniors. If you're looking for a full day of activities or to relax in your apartment, we have you covered. Located on the Alton Memorial Campus. To know us is to love us. Experience the difference at Evergreen Place.
Life's better when you're under our roof. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto and home coverage at the right price. Also, you can enjoy the dreams you worked so hard to achieve. American Family Insurance.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
In the heart-pounding moments of the game, every move counts, just like in chiropractic care. Dr. Andrew Dykman of Rosewood Chiropractic champions this belief, supporting our teams in every drive and supporting his patients for nearly 20 years, offering affordable, compassionate, all-natural wellness care. Call 618-259-2676 or visit rosewoodchiropractic.com today.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Peace of mind, 'cause you make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. When my soul was in the lost and found,
I just love that song. 9:54, here's what happened on... Oh, we aren't talking to Sydney. I do this every time we do Blog Talk. On this date in history, on May the 8th, the big one, Allied nations worldwide celebrate Victory in Europe Day. That happened on the 8th day of May in 1945. Also, on this date in history, we'll take you all the way back to the year 1500 in exploration. 1541, Spanish conquistador Hernando de Soto reaches the Mississippi. That happened in 1541 on this date in history. On this date in art, literature, and film history, this is kind of unique. Betty White became the oldest Saturday Night Live host in the year 2010. And 80, 82, close? Yeah. In Native American history in 1973, American Indian Movement, known as AIM, ends occupation of Wounded Knee. That happened on this date in 1973. During World War II in 1945, the high-ranking Nazi Hermann Göring is captured by the U.S.'s 7th Army. And during World War I in 1919, on this date, May the 8th, the new celebration of Armistice Day is proposed in 1919. On this date, during the Vietnam War in the year 1970, Nixon defended the invasion of Cambodia on May the 8th, 1970. On this date in U.S. presidential history, I just think one of the best, Harry S. Truman, is born on this date in 1884 and, of course, became known for making one of the most important decision really out there in terms of being a United States president. Born on this date in 1884. During the 19th century, on this date in 1846, future President Zachary Taylor fights the Battle of Palo Alto. That happened on this date in 1846. On this date in art, literature, and film history, American moviegoers get their first view of James Bond and Dr. No. That happened in 1963. In 1902, Mount Pelée began to erupt, burying the Caribbean city, and that happened on this date in 1902. On this date during the Cold War, in 1984, the Soviets announced that they would be boycotting the 1984 Olympics. On this date during the Civil War, General Lee's army beat Grant's Union troops in Spotsylvania in 1864. And finally, in the early development of the United States in that history, in 1792, the Militia Act establishes conscription under federal law. That happened in 1792. This migraine's starting to really kind of get to me. On this date in music history, in 2014, Chuck Berry named as one of the 2014 Polar Music Prize laureates. A spokesperson from the award committee said in the course of 3 minutes, he conjures up an image of the everyday life and dreams of a teenager, often with the focus on cars. Chuck Berry, born in 1926, was the first to drive up onto the highway and announce that we are born to run. That happened on this date in 2014. On this date in 2005, Bruce Springsteen was at #1 on the U.S. albums chart with Devils and Dust, his 13th #1 studio album. Remember, we talked about it yesterday. They were pulling it from radio stations and you name it, man. Radioland was a crazy world in the early 2000s. In 1996, a Los Angeles judge ruled against Tommy Lee and his wife, Pamela Anderson, in their bid to keep Penthouse magazine from publishing still photos from an X-rated home movie that was stolen from their home. That happened in 1996. In 1993, Aerosmith entered the U.S. album chart at #1 with Get a Grip and a #2 hit in the United Kingdom. The album went on to sell over 20 million copies worldwide, as well as winning the band 2 Grammy Awards. Also, on this date in 1976, ABBA scored their 3rd UK #1 with Fernando. The song went on to become ABBA's biggest selling single with over 10 million in sales. And also on that date, ABBA started a 9-week run at #1 on the UK album chart with their greatest hits album. Man, that's crazy. 9 weeks for a greatest hits album. On this date in 1976, BBC Radio 1 DJ Johnny Walker announced he was quitting the station after being told he must pretend to like the Bay City Rollers. That happened on this date in 1976. One final one for you. In 1970, the Beatles' 12th and final album, Let It Be, is released. It was recorded before the Abbey Road album and originally called Get Back. The album came in a deluxe box with a Get Back book. That happened on this date in history. Born on this date, American rapper 6ix9ine, known for Trolls, his collaboration with Nicki Minaj debuted at #1 in the U.S. Is that the guy that ratted out all of his friends? I think it is. Also born on this date, Enrique Iglesias, the Spanish singer, songwriter, actor who had the #1 U.S. single in 2000, Be With You, and the 2002 U.S. #3 single with Hero. He is regarded as the king of Latin pop and has sold over 170 million records worldwide. That happened on this date in history. And one final one for you. Ricky Nelson was born on this date in 1940 with hits like Poor Little Fool, Hello, Mary Lou, and Garden Party. Ricky Nelson, born on this date in the year 1940. The time's 10:01. We'll take a quick break, come back with top of the hour news next.
I had an amazing experience with Dr. Haug and her team. I came here when I was 10 years old to get my braces on. Now I'm 28 years old, braces off, and I get so many compliments on my smile. It's helped me thrive in my career as a news reporter, and also as Miss Missouri USA, I took the stage with confidence, knowing my smile was going to make me look like $1 million. I've never felt better and more confident because of my smile.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready? Future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville. Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
.03, welcome back. Daily Show hitting you on a Wednesday. And here's what's happening around the Riverbend during this 10 o'clock hour. Make sure you sign up for those SMS text notifications so you're always staying up to date and in the know on your smartphone. We'll take you to Alton first. For more than a quarter of a century, Haug Orthodontics in Alton and Highland has been dedicated to crafting perfect smiles, and led by Dr. Kimberly Haug, the clinic offers a variety of braces, including clear ceramic, self-ligating, and lingual options, as well as the popular Invisalign treatment, which is particularly favored by adults seeking a discreet way to improve their smile. They're also the exclusive local provider of Zoom Whitening, a revolutionary treatment that can significantly brighten teeth in just one session. Haug Orthodontics prides itself on an experienced staff and a legacy of transforming smiles, which, according to former patient and Miss Missouri USA Michaela McGee, can truly change lives. For more details or to schedule a complimentary consultation, you can visit unforgettablesmiles.net or call 618-463-7002. Also in the news, Marquette Catholic High School girls soccer concluded a stellar regular season with a decisive 8-0 victory over Hillsboro last Friday. With this win, the Explorers stand at 13-7-1. And are currently ranked 15th in the IHSA Class 1A schools. The game saw sophomore goalie Jessica Eels achieving her 10th shutout of the season. Supporting key players included Radley Hayner and Maddie Waters. Multiple players contributed to the score line, especially Alex Steffen, who scored 2 goals. Looking ahead, the Explorers are set to begin their postseason journey on the 10th of May, facing Carlinville at the IHSA Regional in Hillsboro. And we'll keep you up to date with your daily dose of local sports as we creep through the postseason. Out of Edwardsville, RP Lumber has recently announced its acquisition of the Mount Carroll Home Center, a well-established hardware, lumber, and building materials retailer in Mount Carroll, Illinois. The acquisition, which closed last Friday, May the 17th, marks RP Lumber's first entry into Carroll County and its fourth acquisition of the year. With the addition of Mount Carroll location at 903 South Clay Street, the company now operates 84 stores across 6 states. All staff from the home center have the option to continue with RP Lumber. Fred and Dave Paschke, previous owners, shared their confidence in RP Lumber as a trusted successor to their legacy. Robert L. Plummer, the president and CEO of RP Lumber, committed to honoring this legacy by enhancing product offerings and employee training to better serve the local community. Also in the news, Marcus Payne led the way with 2 RBIs and Parker Lamar added another, and Adam Hale struck out 5 in Piesaw Southwestern's critical 3-1 victory over Verdon North Mac, clinching the South Central Conference Baseball Championship. The victory, which occurred on Monday at North Mac's Park, improved Southwestern's record to 24-6 on the year and maintained their undefeated conference streak at 9-0. The team's defense and pitching has been pivotal in their recent successes, as noted by head coach Brian Hanslow. Upcoming games include East Alton Wood River, Carrollton for Senior Day, and Marquette Catholic concluding the regular season. Let's take a look at weather. Right now it's 10:06 and it feels like 80 out there. Today, mostly cloudy and warm, a damaging afternoon thunderstorm, and those thunderstorms you need to be mindful of. They're predicting up to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts in some parts of the Metro East, and they could bring torrential downpours, large hail, damaging wind gusts, and even a tornado. Tonight, a strong thunderstorm in spots of the area this evening. Otherwise, it will just be partly cloudy. Temperatures will reach 80 degrees today, drop down to 59 overnight on Thursday, a high of 70 degrees, a low of 51. On Friday, a high of 69, an 85% chance of a downpour, and a low of 54. On Saturday, no rain in the forecast, partly sunny skies, a high of 72, a low of 48. And on Sunday, the 12th of May, Mother's Day, mostly cloudy skies, a high of 78 and a low of 57 degrees. For time and temperature throughout the day, give this phone number a ring, 618-465-4545, this time powered by Tom Lane. He's your local State Farm agent. Before I take a quick break, are you looking for a fresh start on the road to recovery? A life free from addiction is possible, and it starts at Centerstone. Centerstone is a national leader in mental health and substance use disorder treatment for people of all ages. With a commitment to delivering care that truly changes people's lives, Centerstone's dedicated clinicians use evidence-based practices in their treatment program. So this means the recovery care plan is developed for you. Listen, there's a lot of unknowns on the road to recovery, but one thing you can know for sure is that Centerstone will be a constant guiding force for you in your recovery journey. Addiction, it can happen to anybody, but so can recovery. So start working towards your recovery today by visiting Centerstone online at recoverwithus.org. That's recoverwithus.org. 10:09, that's the time. But before we do that, always good to take a look at Skycam and see how downtown Alton's looking today. We'll come back with Lacey McDonald right after this on RiverBender.com.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
Dream Home Home Realty Center.
Hey, Sherry, talk to me, Dream Team. We've got Joey.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
We are Phillips 66 Wood River Refinery. We make the fuels that take us to work and our children to school. We make materials and energy products that allow us to stay connected to each other. We care about the quality and safety of our products because we care about the communities we share. Our employees live our values of safety, honor, and a commitment to act as good neighbors where we live and operate. We are Phillips 66.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
I'm leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go. There's so many times I've let you down. So many times I've played around.
You don't got to leave nowhere in town. You can just stay here. Kurt Smith's coming in on Friday. Lacey, how's everything going?
Hi, fine. How are you?
Well, Jacoby Art Center went well.
Yeah, so our first live music performance was there last night. I wasn't at that one. I'll be at the Miss Jubilee one, the next one that we're doing. That one's already full. Sorry, everybody, but you can get on the waiting list. But yeah, it's a great collaboration, and it went really well last night.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and this is, you guys did another collaboration, didn't you? You and Rachel were on.
Yes.
What were we talking about?
Oh, that was the Unfiltered Lens.
Oh, okay, yeah. And
yeah.
did that wrap up okay?
Yeah.
Good.
It was wonderful. Yes.
Well, and what I think's great is Kurt Smith's back in town. This is a really big treat because not a lot of communities can say you get the Thomas Jefferson coming in, the Colonial Williamsburg, Thomas Jefferson coming in and really educating the public, really.
Yeah, and he's going to be all over the place. I know last year, he was here last year,
Uh-huh.
and I know he was on your show, but he is, like you said, the Thomas Jefferson of Colonial Williamsburg, and the Lewis and Clark Society of America, both this year and last year, are the ones that have made this possible. And so we have a free event on Friday. It's Friday, May 10th, this Friday at 6 p.m., where Thomas Jefferson, Kurt Smith, will be coming to give a talk and answer questions as Thomas Jefferson.
That is so cool. And I'm literally on the Colonial Williamsburg website, and I just think it's so cool to see all the folks. And then there's Kurt, really does a great job and really renowned for his portrayal of Thomas Jefferson, too.
Oh, yeah. His entire job is being Thomas Jefferson. So he's read the thousands of letters. He has, tried to do everything to learn about that time period so he can really understand what Jefferson was thinking about.
Well, and absolutely, especially at that point in time, too, when there's so many nuances and thoughts on maybe changing how democracy works and, how a republic functions and everything else. Yeah. Thomas Jefferson was really him and John Adams both really on a different side of the political coin were really progressive back in the day on how to really, go forward and establish a government.
Well, and here's a fun fact, and you might have set me up for this, but next week on the 16th.
Stop.
Yes.
Stop.
On the 16th at 7 at the Wildey in Edwardsville, President Jefferson and President John Adams will be debating.
No. Heck yes. So I'm a big John Adams guy.
Okay,
I think he's so underrated.
Yeah,
okay.
I agree.
And I watched that miniseries again, which is good. But then reading the books and all the writings back and forth, it's so fascinating to see how, two men that obviously despise each other politically had the most profound respect for each other at the end of their lives, especially.
Yes.
So cool.
Well,
So sorry. No, don't let me stop you.
The Madison County Historical Society is the one putting that event on.
That is so
It's
cool.
free, just like this, just like ours. But they called Thomas Jefferson and John Adams frenemies in their publicity material. So yeah, you're exactly right about that.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What day is that again?
That is Thursday, May 16th at 7 p.m. at the Wildey in Edwardsville.
Who's portraying John Adams?
Oh, it is Michael LaPlage.
Oh, cool. I've heard of that last name before. I know of him.
And I haven't met him, so I hope I pronounced that correctly. But yeah, they're going to be...
I think you did. That is so cool.
Doing the debate.
That's actually so awesome.
Yeah.
Like, that's a real treat. Is anyone filming this?
I don't know.
I think I know what we're doing next week. That is awesome.
Yeah.
And that's at the Wildie.
That's at the Wildie. The Madison County Historical Society is putting that on.
I'm a big fan of that one. So getting back to Hayner, when is he going to be at Hayner?
He's going to be at Hayner Friday, May 10th, this Friday at 6 p.m. And we've got about 13 spots left. So, and there's a little wiggle room there. But if people want to be there,
It's filling up
call
quick,
today.
too.
Yeah, well, it wasn't in our newsletter because we didn't know if it was going to happen again or not.
Right.
So, like 2 weeks ago, we started actually putting out publicity materials, and a week ago I had 5 people, and I was very concerned.
I'd be too.
Yeah, but we started a bigger publicity push. Faith Robinson, our social media person, has been great with that, and now we have 27 people signed up. So we've got around 40 is our limit, so it's still comfortable for people to move around. But yeah, call today if you would like to make a reservation.
Now, what can we expect on Friday?
Well, I assume it'll be like last year, which is that Kurt came in as Thomas Jefferson. He's got the full outfit and everything on. And
whole kit and caboodle.
Kit and caboodle, and talks a little bit about his life and what was going on, in Virginia, which was where we are now, was Virginia at the time.
Isn't that wild?
It's so wild. So wild. And I don't know that I ever really put 2 and 2 together until he said that. Obviously this is like the gateway to the West.
Right.
Lewis and Clark left from just down the river, but it's still weird to think of how big certain states were.
Right.
It's like that with counties in Illinois too. Like Madison County went like all the way up to there were 5 counties.
Exactly.
At one point.
Well, what I've always thought about, could you imagine being the one that, that's living there when you're living in Virginia, and all of a sudden for like 4 years you're told your state's name changed like 4 times. Now you're, now you're Philadelphia, now you're Illinois, now you're Ohio, now you're this. No wonder they got bitter. It's like, I just want to be me. I just want to live here.
Well, and like so many counties got named around the same time. So it's like every state has the same named counties just because those people are alive at that time or just died.
Bridges of Madison County I thought was about us. Like, I really did for the longest time, and I had no idea. None.
I didn't grow up in Illinois. I grew up in Arkansas, and my husband's from here, and he always talked about being off school on Casimir Pulaski Day, and I was like, who is Casimir Pulaski? I grew up in Pulaski County, Arkansas. And I never looked into it, apparently.
What is that genealogy department doing down there?
We learn more every day. There's always more to learn.
But Pulaski County, that's interesting. That's actually awesome.
I tried to argue with him that it was probably named after someone else, and I was 100% wrong.
How's that feel? See, that's got to be I don't like to admit that stuff. That's when you just let it go,
I don't mind admitting when I'm wrong, but if someone else is wrong, I want them to admit it.
Yes! Okay, yeah, that's me too. And I never really am successful in that, but I keep trying, I'm so fascinated by this debate.
Yes.
So what day is that?
Oh, the debate is Thursday, May 16th, so next week, Thursday.
Dang it, that's my sister's birthday.
Oh, well, maybe she wants to go do this.
Maybe we'll do that.
It's 7 p.m. and at the Wildie. So I think they're gonna each speak individually and then debate, and then they'll probably answer questions.
And then at Hayner, what's that time again, Friday?
That is Friday at 6 p.m., and that'll be at the Genealogy and Local History Library.
And now, how long are the presentations?
I would say this will be about 6 to 8. That's about when we left last year. And at the end, Kurt will do photographs with people.
Oh,
so
really cool.
If anyone wants to get their photo with Thomas Jefferson in front of our beautiful fireplace, this is your chance.
Now, can they ask questions?
Yes.
Really
Absolutely,
cool.
Yes.
And see, that's why I think it's so like beyond the fourth wall a little bit, how smart and knowledgeable Kurt's got to be about this stuff, because you're talking to someone that might be 84 and a huge historian and went to college for it. Then the next question's from a 6-year-old that wants to know a little bit more about what Thomas Jefferson's favorite color was.
Right. Right.
Like, that's how I think is so amazing. Did you learn a lot from him last time?
I did. I've learned that we were part of Virginia. And no, it's just thinking about the nuances, because I think it's really easy to, with all sort of historic figures, to like judge them from our time period.
Exactly.
And sometimes that's totally appropriate, but a lot of times there's just more nuance, and you have to really understand what else was going on at the time, what control certain people had in certain situations. And so I think that's the best part. It's that you're getting to know not just him as a person, but what else was going on. And he takes it so seriously, you know, and he's portraying the third president. Like he wants to make sure that he is doing this in a very respectful and fair and truthful way.
Well, and that's the thing, because it seemed like, and I'm not saying now, but like when I was in middle school, it seemed like all of a sudden we just stopped honoring our founding fathers. Like not like we didn't, but we did. We're like they lost their prowess, you know?
I think that it's important never to cast anyone as a full hero. So I think the biggest thing is to kind of acknowledge that people were people and that they made mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's okay if we disagree with something.
Right.
And we can still respect some of the stuff that people did while, you know, having kind of a critical lens on things. I mean, we could get into a whole bunch when we talk about that, but I also think that there are lots and lots and lots of people that, you know, local heroes thing. Like there's so many people that I wish had counties named after them, so it wasn't all the same. So I don't know. I think you got to kind of like look critically at people and then also think about what else was going on in that time period.
One and two, I mean, I think having them here puts it into that first person perspective.
Yes.
You know, because we're really good at saying you should be doing this differently and this should have happened, but none of us were in that room whenever we're deciding if we're going to declare independence, if we're going to keep dealing with tax. You know, it's all those things. And to have them here, though, puts that personal touch to it, to where it's like, well, what would I have done if this guy's talking, you know, supporting the French Revolution or doing these, you know, things, or taking Hamilton on and getting rid of him, you know, and all of these other nuances. Now, does he talk about Hamilton at all?
We had Mary
I'm
and
very
Kurt and I
curious.
had a conversation before the performance last year. I think Mary said, like, so how do you feel about Hamilton? And he was like, personally, I admire him. I love that the kids are super into that period of history. You know, professionally as Thomas Jefferson,
I hate
the
him.
guy.
That's what I was curious. Like if he was sitting there throwing shots at Hamilton during the, you know, because I mean, just the hatred those.
He did. There were some barbed comments about Hamilton during the performance.
That's where I want to go. It's like those things where it's just, you know, I don't know. I just love that type of stuff where all of a sudden the rivalries and those, like, you know, forgotten moments of history come out a little bit in the live display. And I just think it's great. Now, is he going anywhere else, Lacy?
He is. Okay, so like I said, the Lewis and Clark Society of America are the ones that are actually bringing him here. So he will be at the Lewis and Clark State Historic Site all day for Education Day this Friday. That's for local schools and stuff. So it's not a public event, but I just think that's wonderful that so many kids are going to get to talk to Thomas Jefferson.
Sure.
And then on Saturday and Sunday, he will be at the State Historic Site pretty much all day, wandering around the grounds, talking to people, like in conversation. And then at 10:30 a.m. and 1 p.m., there will be public programs there. So those are open to everyone. You can look at the Lewis and Clark State Historic Site website, Facebook page to get more information about that. And then Monday, a little bit farther away, but he's going to the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum in Springfield. And they're having a 4 and more meet and greet program that he's going to be part of, so people can come in and meet Jefferson.
That's really cool.
And then a program that evening at 7 on their stage too. So yeah, he's going all over the place.
Man, that's really cool. That Wiley one's going to be awesome. Now, my a real genuine question is, how do you think? And you don't know the answer. Well, you do, but I don't know. You aren't Kurt Smith, so I probably should ask him. But I forgot to ask this last year. How was he able to kind of touch on? You know, I mean, the big elephant in the room is he was a major slave owner.
Yes.
And, you know, whenever you have those conversations, because you're thinking as Thomas Jefferson during the 17 and 1800s, and when you're Thomas Jefferson, how do you still try to find a way to correlate that, you know, into a modern society? And folks are obviously now know that slavery is completely wrong and should have never have happened.
Right.
But how does that kind of translate? I find that part of it fascinating.
One of our patrons asked about that last year, and the way he described it was that, I mean, first of all, yes, it's a time period when even people that knew slavery was wrong and felt that it was morally wrong still participated in it in different ways. He described it as having been in deep debt, and if he didn't participate in slavery, have enslaved people working his land, then he wouldn't have been able to afford to be a landowner, and therefore would not have been able to have political office. So it was this like
kind of cringy thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
in a way, you know.
Yeah. Like, again, like, I think it's appropriate to judge historical figures. That way you can sort of see why.
Yeah.
But he did believe that slavery was wrong.
Yeah.
And he tried to put that into all of the sort of founding documents. So I feel like in a lot of ways, like, his heart was in the right place, but he still didn't do the right thing.
Yeah, was it a do as I say, not as I do thing, or was it really because he needed help? Or not help, but he needed to stay financially sufficient?
I would have to read all of the
Yeah,
thousands of
you know what I'm
letters to
saying?
really understand. But I still feel like we don't have to have statues to everyone to, like, admire people and still, like, feel like they could have done things differently too. I mean, you know, my descendants could look at me and be like, well, she believed in this, but did she always practice it?
Right.
So I think that's a really hard question.
Yeah.
And especially because I'm not a Thomas Jefferson expert.
Right.
But yeah.
It's just kind of a thought, because it's
Yeah.
like so difficult, I would imagine, for someone in 2023 to talk about being a major slave owner. I mean, and that's why it was so fascinating to hear your thoughts on that and know that those questions are being asked. Like, that's difficult for somebody to answer, even if you study them for 30 years.
It is. It's my daughter, who's 8, brought up something yesterday because she and her class went on their local history field trip last week, which was phenomenal. But she said, Mom, if you were here in 1858 when Douglas and Lincoln were debating, who would you have voted for? And I said, well, I hope I would vote for Lincoln. Right. But I don't know what else would be going on in my life. And, my husband was like, think about who you are today. You would be voting for Lincoln if you could vote, because you couldn't even vote because women couldn't vote at the time. So I believe that I would. I believe I would have voted for Lincoln, but I also don't know what kind of family life I would have had, what would have shaped me beyond just my, like, inherent personality.
Right.
So I think we have to kind of, like, look at what we think we would have done in the past and apply it to situations in the present where we actually have some control.
You know what else is fascinating too, I thought about, is that now we have a way to determine what's fake news. Back then, you really didn't. There was a lot of fake news, or a lot of slanderous materials being sent to people and kind of dissuading, or maybe, just kind of lying bold-faced on, a certain person or a certain political movement, too.
Oh, yeah. They had all kinds of...
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so who knows? That's what I find so fascinating, is how many people were actually brainwashed by propaganda in the 17 and 1800s by the, not even a Federalist newspaper, but any of them, because they really were kind of, just from what I know, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I've kind of just...
sorry. Thomas Jefferson's coming into town.
Coming into town. It's really interesting to look at the history of journalism, because there was a time period when it was much more divided, and then we had sort of a more mainstream, everybody watched the same shows, everybody read the same newspapers, and now we've kind of, like, gone a little bit back to the more divided... You read what you already agree with, and then there's a lot of confirmation bias. So I find all that very interesting.
I'm sorry we went down a rabbit hole. It's just like there's so many nuances to like. It starts with Thomas Jefferson, but it just opens up a wheelhouse to all these things that really you wouldn't know about unless you have someone coming in talking about it from a personal perspective to gain better understanding on it too.
Right, because you don't know where your gaps in knowledge are until someone tells you or you read it or what, and then it all kind of clicks into place. But it wasn't that you knew that puzzle piece was missing.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
No, 100%. Man, this was good. So when's Kurt coming?
Kurt Smith, the official Thomas Jefferson of Colonial Williamsburg, is coming to Hayner Genealogy and Local History Library, 401 State Street, this Friday, May 10th at 6 p.m., and you can call 1-800-613-3163 to make reservations.
That's really...
So if you just listen to one part of the show, that was it.
We kind of tackled some ground here. Now, does he talk about John Adams' wife at all?
I don't know.
Because they had a pretty good relationship going too at one point.
Oh, because didn't she like help them become friends again at the end?
Yeah, after she took him on during the election.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he did talk about that last year.
That's interesting. Man, I gotta check this out. There you go. HaynerLibrary.org for more information. Or what's the registration number?
It is 1-800-613-3163 to make reservations.
There you go. Ask away. We already got you started on questions. Now it's the floor is yours, Senator. Ask the president next. 10:30. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back with. Do not laugh at me.
I won't.
Do not laugh at me. I didn't think I was going to have someone in studio when I was talking about MILF. Man, I love film. Lacy, I saw that in the camera. Man, I love film. We learn all about it next. This is cool at Jacoby Art Center. Have you seen it yet?
Oh, no, I haven't
It's all about film photography and developing the old school way and really some cool shots. So we'll talk all about that when we come back right after this on Riverbender, If I Have a Job.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
Riverbender Radio has built 3 great new stations just for you in the Riverbend. The Eagle, the Riverbend's classic rock station. The Bridge, hit music for the Riverbend. And The River, today's country, and all your favorites. Check them out today at RiverBenderRadio.com.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Welcome back to our daily show on this Wednesday morning. It is the 8th day of May. Well, MILF. Not that MILF. Oh, man, I love film. Let's talk about this. We got Sage in here, and then Sage, we have your students in class with us too. Judah, James, Lindsay, Haley, Sage, and Bailey. Sage is there. She's not a student. Sage is the teacher. How are we doing today?
Good. Thank you. I know sometimes people get me confused, like if I'm a student or not. Probably like the hair thing, but.
Well, how long have you been teaching at LC?
For about 1 school year now.
Really cool. And besides this course, is there any other courses that you instruct over there?
Art history. I've taught non-Western art history and art of film, just like a film history course. So it all goes in line with film.
That's really cool. And now, fill me in real quick before we start talking to everybody. Sydney did an article about a week ago about the opening exhibit at Jacoby Art Center, which was on May 4th, correct?
Yes.
And now this is running in the entire month of May at Jacoby, but fill me in on MILF. Man, I love film. What is this all about? What are the displays? And just fill me in a little bit more.
Sure. So MILF, Man I Love Film, is a show that's was really put together for the students, by the students. They came up with the show title. They came up with things that they wanted to show. They produced a lot of pieces. So we went to Jacoby and just said, hey, what would you think about showing this work? And they were all for it. So it is mostly showcasing their work. We ended up having over 150 pieces in the show.
Wow.
So there's a lot of good work there.
And now, take me through how it's displayed and how it's laid out, because I read on the flyer that it's like this, almost dark room type of, white, black and white type of dark room aspect. Is that kind of how it looks in the exhibit?
I mean, for the show, it's separated by artists. So we have like a group of Lindsay's work, a group of James.
Gotcha.
So it's separated by each artist. And then James, which is here, he's here, he made a walking audio tour too. So people can, if you're still interested to see the show, you can.
So basically the way it works is when you walk into the gallery, if you look on your right side, right there next to the poster, there'll be a little QR code there, and you scan that and it takes you to a YouTube video. And basically the YouTube video will walk you throughout the whole entire gallery, starting from the right side, and you just walk around. And it'll talk a little bit about the art pieces, it'll talk about the artist. And it's just really cool. It gives you a lot of context, because
And just reading on the write-up, too, there's a lot of things that folks can explore in this, too. I'm looking here, and I'm seeing from New Age emo to furry fandom and human and animal struggles. Fill me in on some of the subcultures that are being represented here, and let's talk about them a bit and learn together here.
Yeah, I feel like that's becoming more typical of film because so many people shoot digitally now. That I think that it lends itself, film is a kind of medium for the subcultural genres, things that people are exploring visually. Some of those genres are the artists that are here in the room, like exploring the furry fandom. What does New Age emo look like when you're doing photography? We've got Haley, who does more emo prints that are high contrast, things that are personal to her, things around Alton. So there's like visual differences between the artists.
Well, and I think that's what's really unique about this too, is being able for a consumer or someone who goes and views it to go and really learn about those nuances and new subcultures and all these things that really are reflected in media now, and that way we all get a little bit of a better understanding of it too.
Yeah. And one thing that's kind of interesting, especially with the furry fandom, a lot of people have like negative connotations with it. Like I personally am a furry myself, and there's a lot of people that like have misunderstandings with furry, like they think they're dog people. That's not true. And so this is kind of a cool way to try and get some of that more niche subcultures and stuff more out to the public, so people can start learning a little bit and be like, hey, what is actually this like furry thing? And then you just realize it's actually just like a really cool place for people to hang out.
Well, and that's the thing too, because in life, everyone has different interests, and different things that they're into, what they want to accomplish in life, and all this is about, that's why I love doing the show, folks, is it's about learning about all of these things, because it's not going away. So embrace it, learn a little bit about it, and you don't have to love it, but just understand a little bit more too. And I think that's awesome. Now, for all of you, take me through your favorite parts of getting this exhibit put together, because whether or not it's capturing those moments, capturing those on a film photo, or just the exhibit itself opening, for you guys, was it the journey that was the most exciting part? Was it the opening reception? What was it for everyone? Judah, what do you think over there, man?
So for me, I guess my favorite part of the process is how people will react to it. Because for me personally, I do a lot of experimental artwork in it, or things that I would like to frame stuff that's not exactly considered pretty or I'd say aesthetically pleasing all the time. As the experiential kind of aspect of it, how people view it, how it makes them think or feel. It's the feeling it gives them, as opposed to actually being pleasing to look at.
Yeah.
So.
For sure, that's really cool. And who else has some thoughts on this? James, what are your thoughts?
So I'd love to say, so kind of for me, I for better or for worse, I'm a very kind of competitive person. I love trying to do like just absolutely the best work I can do. I really want to be the person where I make a piece of work and people are like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I love that. I love what you did there. And so I always love going big and beyond and kind of just seeing how far I can push it. So some of my pieces I did was like I did some 16 by 20 prints, which is very large. That's like the largest that we can even physically print with the equipment we have. And I was like, yeah, I want to do that. And I'm also a digital photographer, and I was learning some things in studio, and I learned some like cool ways that you can use flash photography to get some really neat effects. And I was like, wait a minute, can you do this on film? And I'm like, wait, that would be super psychotic to do that. But I'm like, I'm going to do it because that would be amazing. That'd be super cool. And so like I just try to find like the stupidest, hardest thing to do and like do something cool with it. I was even shooting with this camera. It's called a Holga, and it's like a plastic Chinese toy camera basically. Like it doesn't take sharp photos and stuff, but it just has this neat lo-fi aesthetic. And I've seen some really neat stuff with it, and I'm like, it's a kind of a difficult camera to use because of how limited it is. And I'm like, you know what, I'm going to use that and do some really cool stuff with that.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of about pushing the boundaries as far as you can go, you know.
Well, absolutely. And Lindsay, what are your thoughts?
I really like just making the prints themselves, trying to figure out like what looks good, like if I should dodge and burn or if I should just...
What's that? I'm not smart to this. What's dodge and burn? That sounds cool.
Dodging and burning is basically when you have your print and something's either too light or too dark, you either dodge it, which means you like try to like hide it so that the light doesn't get to it to make it like the same darkness as it was, and then you burn the rest of it to make it darker, to make it look more even.
That's really cool. And now, is this take me through this just so I understand a little bit more. Is this like actual photo development too? Is that what you're Oh, like the dark room.
Yeah.
Yes, literally.
Okay, like my mind, okay. So the entire time I always do this in every interview because I've done this for 6 years now, and I know that if you go in trying to know it all, it's going to fail. So I always try to learn as we're going here. I'm like, this sounds like some really great development stuff and a really an art that's lost. I mean, really, and if you ask the general public, we couldn't probably tell you step one into developing photos and film the correct way, but to know that this is being taught, I mean, this is really cool. And now, do you like this? So that's one of your aspects is dodging and
burning.
Burning. Yeah. I almost had it. That's a C. What do you think, Sage? C?
Yeah.
Okay. You like it?
Yeah.
Haley, what are your thoughts?
I had a lot of fun this semester. I went in thinking this was a digital photography class.
I do the same thing.
There was, I think, like 4 or 5 students that thought the same thing. It was
really?
Because the class is just titled photography.
The way the syllabus works is that there's photography 1 and 2, and then there's digital photography 1 and 2, and it's like. It needs to change. It shouldn't be like that, but oh my
But
Lord.
we're fixing it now. And Haley, take me through the fun that you had, some of the things that you really enjoyed in this process.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I used my best friend Georgie a lot as my subject to kind of make my ideas come to life. And I think that he captured it very well. And I've also experimented with some landscapes around here, especially. To kind of get that feel of Alton and downtown.
Well, and this is a good point, too, because I feel like Alton, and just really Main Street of Alton, Broadway and that kind of corridor, has some really cool, really photo-esque spots. And not necessarily just the building, but even a close-up or a nosedive into the brick cobblestones and the mortars and all of those things. I think that's what gets really exciting. But my question is, does it look different when you develop this way over digital? That's my question.
The idea there is that can you create an image completely digital and make it look like film? Yes, you can.
Okay.
The amount of advancements we've gotten with like Adobe Photoshop, you can make anything look like anything. But it's not always the point to me that, you're just trying to make something look good. It's about kind of the feeling. It's about that emotion, And sometimes it's about the work. You can feel the artwork and like how much effort they put in, and it makes it feel even just a little bit more. It just feels a little bit better that way. I would say, you know, it's kind of like the same thing, you know, people are talking with AI. It's like, can AI make this, you know, write a 10-page book? Yeah. I mean, or a 10-chapter book, whatever. Yeah, it can, but it's not always the same as like a human.
Well, now you're right about that, because we just talked about that at work today, because at Riverbender, we use AI, but we don't use it for, you know, create an image. We use it for coding and things that we have here. And there's another local company that tries to use it, and it's like, guys, you got to prompt better. You got to do these things. You got to do that. And you almost want to help, you know, your competitor in a way. But you're right, because if you do it the right way and you prompt the right way, just like developing digitally, you know, trying to make it look like film, it could. But it's the process that it takes too, and it's those writer's blocks and those design element blocks that you're like, man, what am I doing wrong here? What's not showing? And I like that. That's really nice. So why don't we do this? It's we're a little bit into this interview. I got to hit pause because I got to pay a quick bill. But before I do that, let me fill you in on Village Dispensary, one of our newest supporters of the show. We just talked to Eddie Boy just a couple of days ago. Village Dispensary's already turning heads because of their local staff and their friendly atmosphere. But what I like is when you walk in there, you're walking out in 2 minutes. You place your order. You don't have to worry about the guy going to the bag, grabbing the bag, then he staples it, then he scans everything, and then you're like, okay, it's been 7, 8, 9 minutes. I just want to go home and touch the sky. Don't have to worry about anymore. At Village Dispensary, you are in and out at rapid speed because of the experts there. You go to villagedispo.com today. You can start your order process, and you can learn more about the new institution in the Village of Godfrey. That's Village Dispensary. And make sure you tell them once you get there that CJ sent you their way.
I had an amazing experience with Dr. Haug and her team. I came here when I was 10 years old to get my braces on. Now I'm 28 years old, braces off, and I get so many compliments on my smile. It's helped me thrive in my career as a news reporter, and also as Miss Missouri USA, I took the stage with confidence, knowing my smile was gonna make me look like $1 million. I've never felt better and more confident because of my smile.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof, because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready? Future rocket scientist, we have liftoff, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville. Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nicello on RiverBender.com.
It's a living thing. It's a terrible thing to lose. It's a given thing.
Welcome back. Man, I love film. I gotta say it. You guys know I could not do this interview without doing that. Come on now. A little bit of change around 10. How much time will we into this interview? About 10:50. A little bit of change, you know. A couple of seconds rolling by the dial here. But hey, we still have a man. I love film, and we're going to learn a little bit more with the students. I got to ask you this. What is the pinnacle of your guys' displays and your work? And we'll start, Judah. You're up first. You're on deck, man.
Let me think. My favorite one, basically? That's the question. Okay, so my favorite one would probably be, it's titled Second to Last Temptation of Christ. It is a double exposure, plus it uses, I would say, experimental techniques of showing 2 different images without double exposing it and then doing exposure on top of it. It has a child in it, and it was taken of stained glass, and across from it has a Halloween demon, basically. And that's been superimposed next to it with an angel across the entire thing of it. And I think it kind of gives I think it's very evocative is how I describe it, basically.
What's that? Just because I'm a radio guy,
Sure.
a media guy, what's that mean?
What specifically?
What locket?
Evocative.
Evocative. Yeah. Can you describe that a little bit more for me?
Expresses, I guess it expresses feeling through it. It, not necessarily through words, but through, I guess, experience. It makes you, feel something. Like, I think the imagery is strong.
Really cool. James?
Yep. Gosh. Well, for Judah's print was super cool, but for me, it's really hard for me to pick one.
Yeah.
I'd say for me, my Holga series is really cool, which is a little bit cheating. It's not one print; it's actually a set of 4 prints.
Oh, James!
I know. I'm sorry.
Haley's even giving you the stink eye right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's kind of interesting because with artists and stuff, sometimes you have single solo prints, and sometimes you have something called a series, which is where you actually have multiple prints that are all kind of collected together. They tell a story, and so sometimes you can have a series for different things, and it's kind of cool. So they all kind of go together, and they're all the Holga series were all these photos that were taken by the toy camera I mentioned earlier. They all have this really cool aesthetic. There's some double exposures. Now there's 2 ways to do double exposures. You can do it in the camera itself, where you literally, the way that film works is it's all light sensitive, right? So you open the shutter, lets light in, and it hits that film, and then it changes that part into a negative, and then you can put the film into something called an enlarger, which is basically, I like to talk about it.
We gotta let them speak.
Yeah, but yeah, no.
I'll ask you more about that because
Yeah,
I got
for sure,
more.
yeah.
I got more technological questions for you.
But
here.
yeah.
Well, let's.
But yeah, the Holga series is really cool.
Really cool. And now, Lindsay, fill me in.
So for me, I have 2. One is called Noodle Don't Noodle. It's just a picture of a bunch of macaroni.
I love it. What's the purpose behind it? That's cool.
I just needed something to take a picture of that was interesting and had texture, and that's what I did.
I love it. All right.
And then my other is called Throw Me a Roll. It's a picture of Lambert's Cafe in Sykeston, Missouri.
Yeah.
It's one of my family's favorite places to go, and most of my film and my work is of things I love. So,
You should talk about Lambert's. What do they do there?
At Lambert's, you don't get like a basket of rolls. You get thrown a roll.
Okay.
And you have to try to catch it. And it's pretty fun.
Really cool. Now, is it your shot just the outside? Is it the inside?
What's just the outside.
Now, whenever you're getting that put together, what are some of the thoughts that you had? Do you get those flashbacks and memories being there with your family? You know?
I've been going there since I was literally in a pumpkin seat. My dad used to
I love it.
always tell me that they used to throw a roll at my head when I was a baby. So, it's just, all my childhood memories were pretty much there. So it's pretty fun.
Haley, what are your thoughts? What was your prized possession of the semester?
My favorite print that I made is titled The Lens of Nature, and it is a double exposure. The first image is of my friend that I...
Georgie.
Yes.
Yep.
It is a close-up of his face, and the other print are some flowers that are outside our front yard. And I thought that was more personal, but it's a very... But standalone, it is a very beautiful piece of art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and now take me through the little bit of the personal touch of that. What was the reasoning behind it?
Well, I was experimenting with like the new age emo with I have a very bright light shined on his face. So there's very dark shadows and light lights, which and then I used the flowers on top with and his eyes are like peeking through.
Gotcha. Now I gotta ask you this: when it comes to developing film and all that, because I know nothing about it. I know nothing. That's really true when it comes to film and photography and developing them. Now, is there a way? And I don't know how to ask this question, so I'm just gonna say it out loud and hope for the best here. I was doing a play, the only time I've ever been doing one of those. I had to fill in at Alton Little Theater for Elephant's Graveyard, and there's this whole big drama about Is that actually the real picture of the elephant they hung in Irwin, Tennessee? And people think, no, that's one of the earliest forms of Photoshop, or that not earliest forms, but an earlier form of Photoshop. Were those things around decades ago, like in the 20s, and Photoshop and adding and altering photos to kind of make them look how you like them?
Well, maybe Judah can talk about
Yeah,
that.
can you talk? I'm just curious. I mean, I want to learn a little bit here. That's cool.
Alteration has been around since like the beginning of photos, from my understanding. Like that was a trend, I think, in like the 1800s of like putting ghosts in picture or something.
Really
So,
cool.
where you just expose a picture multiple times. So I mean, people have been editing photos since the beginning. Like what was it? Famous like Stalin thing. He like got rid of pictures of his political, allies throughout his life. He would remove them from pictures. So we've been messing with photos basically forever.
That's so interesting. Now, what's the most difficult part of the development process? What's the most difficult technique, if you don't mind me asking, for each of you, if you want?
Yeah, I would say probably definitely the hardest. Well, there's a lot of different techniques that are kind of difficult, and for real, it's not like one specific technique is the most hard. It's when you try and combine all the techniques.
Yeah.
It's like when you're trying to do burning and dodging, which is kind of like bringing like dark parts lighter, light parts darker, depending on what you need. But then if you're doing something like darkroom double exposure, where you're using like, I had some of my prints that are in the thing where they're different, I'm using literally different negatives for different parts of the image.
Okay.
Yeah, so literally one of my images, Powering the City, has like the city, St. Louis there, and then has the Wood River Refinery on top of it. And you have to literally blend those two images together, and then, so that can be really difficult.
Yeah.
And then it also matters like shooting the photo and how dense the negative is and how long you have to expose for. You can go down a huge wormhole of how difficult it can really get.
Really cool. What are your girls' thoughts?
Mine was similar to what James said about once you figure out the f-stop, the time.
What's an f-stop? I'm learning here for the first time. What's an f-stop?
It's basically how much light the enlarger is giving you.
Cool, okay. I like learning. This is cool.
Yeah.
For me, it's always trying to find the right contrast filter, which is like a filter we put into the enlarger to give us different amounts of darks and lights, and just trying to blend those two together.
Sage, you're doing a good job back there teaching. I'm telling you what, this is cool. I'm learning a lot.
They are having to understand a lot.
Come on in here. We got time. We know you're sitting down over there.
Sorry. They're having to understand a lot in order to produce these prints.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm really proud of them, especially for making so much
Yeah.
good work. They're having to understand darkroom chemistry, so chemicals, light, all different kinds of things to produce their work. So.
Well, and that's what's so cool about it. That's why I wanted to talk a little bit more, because it's not just, I mean, listen, I was a college kid, and all that. We've all been students before, and we take pictures and we get the project done really fast. But you guys really absorbed all this and learned all these processes, and that's what I think so impressive about this, is it's not just here's the display and here's the exhibit. It's here's how we did it. And that's what I think so cool about this. And now, as we get back until June the 1st, that gives you how many months or days are in May? 30 days has September, April, June. We have 31 in May, don't we? 31.
3 weeks.
So that means you got, oh goodness, math is not my friend, about 24 days. 24 days, that's right, because it's the 7th. 24 days left to go to Jacoby Art Center, 627 East Broadway in Alton to see Man, I Love Film the entire month of May, otherwise known as MILF. I only get one more time to say that. And now, with that being said, give us a takeaway. The floor is yours, Senators, on what we can expect when we go into Jacoby Art Center and check out this really cool exhibit. Take it away, whoever wants to start first.
Yeah, I just...
James, you're on fire today!
I try my best. But yeah, it's gonna be a great time. Everyone's gonna love coming out and seeing all the work. There's about, as I said, about 150 pieces in the show. I think most of them were made all this semester. I think there's only maybe I don't think there's less than 10 that were made in the month of everything is 2024. Everything. So it's really cool. 150 pieces, 10 artists, or 11 artists. Sorry. 11 artists, and it's really cool. Make sure you check out that audio tour. You get a lot more context. every section of the audio tour was written by the artists that made it themselves, so they really were able to give their own insight. It's just a cool experience. It's such a cool time. Totally recommend.
That's awesome.
And huge shout out to Jacoby for this. They're just amazing. Amazing people over there. Love them to bits.
There you go. I love it. Anyone else have some final thoughts?
I would say.
Oh, Judah, here we go!
Let's go. Okay, so we know I would say a good amount of about film photography and how the chemicals work and everything. I say that's because respect to Sage, she holds us all to a very high standard of technique and aesthetic and just all these things that she really made sure everybody knew that they were learning.
100%. Girls, any final thoughts?
Sage is literally the best.
Yeah, we love Sage.
Look at this! You need to do more interviews, Sage. I'm telling you what.
I mean, the students have all been wonderful, especially because they made really, really different work.
Yeah.
Macaroni, emo double exposures of people and flowers.
Really big things.
Really big, annoying projects. She does more experimental, religious kind of experiments.
What was Bailey working on, just so we can get her a little bit of love?
Bailey did a lot of music, nature, some portraiture, exploring textures of people's hair, textures of flowers.
So cool.
So everyone's work is wildly different. So if you come to the show, expect to see a very wide range of material.
That's so cool. Well, thank you all so much for your time. I told you 20 minutes, and 30 minutes later, here we are. And that's all good. What we'll do now is we'll take a little bit of a briefer pause here. I'll come back and wrap up this Wednesday morning. Right now, we'll take a quick break, but before I do, let me fill you in. That's not my live sheet read. Let me, my live read sheet, that is not it. But let me fill you in on Hayner Library. We just talked to them at 1010, and Hayner Library truly is the best, one of our greatest partners. Coming up this weekend, you can see Thomas Jefferson at Hayner Library.
Wow.
Okay, not just any Thomas Jefferson, not just some weird guy that threw a wig on. We're talking about the Thomas Jefferson, the Monticello Thomas Jefferson that's all the way from Colonial Williamsburg. Kurt Smith's back in town, and he's at the Genealogy and Local History Library. For all of you, no matter what ages, you got some little ones, bring them, have them ask the former president a question or two, and for yourself. It's really cool. I started watching that John Adams miniseries again. Chef's Kiss. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Really, really good. It's on HBO Max. And it's getting me excited about Kurt Smith coming to town. But it's not just this weekend. Hayner Library is a door to adventure,